Hi everyone, welcome back. I know it's been a long while since I have posted any full YouTube videos. You've probably seen a lot of my shorts on here lately. I do apologize greatly for that because the reason I haven't been posting so much is because my family and I just recently moved and it's just been crazy. I have not found really a facility to film yet. I'm currently, pitching in a backyard right now. So I haven't been able to get you guys much content in a while, but I promise that I will be back to posting regularly very soon. But I did want to talk to you guys today about one of my favorite tools that I use when I teach my girls spins. And there are really I'm not big into like pitching tools. I'm not big into advertising products and things like that. There are very few that I actually use. And when it comes to teaching my girls spins, I really only use three things. I use the spin stick, which my husband makes himself. I use the power pod, which is that, half ball shaped spiky thing that's really normally used for load positioning, but I use it for spins. And then once my girls have gotten the hang of the power pod, which is a little bit bigger and makes them use their wrist and fingers, I introduce this to them. This is the SpinDr Spin trainer, and I really do love it for teaching pitchers isolated spin movements, isolated wrist and finger movements. I greatly prefer it to that yellow like disc thing because this is much more shaped like a ball, so I believe it moves more like a ball, it feels more like a ball in your hand. So I definitely prefer the SpinDr to that. That's just my personal opinion. And I did post a video of myself spinning this the other day on our Instagram and our TikTok, and I got a couple of comments saying or asking if I could do a full video on how specifically to use the SpinDr. So I thought that is what I would do for you guys today. And if you would like to ultimately try the SpinDr for yourself, you can get one off their website and use my code FPPower to get a little discount off for yourself. But today I thought I would go through the main pitches that I use it for, which would be the drop, the curve, the rise. You can also do drop, curves, and screws, but I use it primarily to focus on, those three main pitches. So I'm gonna start by showing you guys the drop, okay? And again, we're just gonna grip it normally like a softball. And I like to start very, very close up to the catcher with the SpinDr, and you can kind of progress backwards as you go. I'm just throwing into a net right now, so you're gonna hear it kind of clunk on the ground, but this is best to do with a catcher. So I like to really start by isolating that wrist and finger movement, and specifically I usually teach a turnover drop. I personally think that it moves better than a peel drop, but you can also do peel drops with this SpinDr, but I'm gonna be showing you the turnover drop today. And I think the biggest issue that I've seen girls do with turnover drops is that they'll kind of just like throw it diagonally down into the ground, almost like they're just throwing a fastball into the ground instead of actually getting that up and over movement, so it gets that actual, starts up and then drops off drop ball movement. So I like to really isolate the wrist and fingers to start with any spin, and I like to over exaggerate that up and over movement. So if you are doing the SpinDr for the drop, okay, I want to make sure you guys can see me, so I'm going to back up a little bit. You're going to start with this really tight to your body, really relaxing your wrist and fingers, and I like to have my girls practice the up and over movement before they actually spin it. So I have them go 1, 2, 3, okay? And you want to make sure, oh, it rolled back to me, that's so nice. Okay, so you want to make sure that you set up with it correctly. So when you're holding the SpinDr, you want to make sure it's perfectly straight. So it shouldn't be tilted in any direction. And when you do those first two practiced wrist movements, you want to keep it straight, okay? So as we spin it, as we practice that, we shouldn't be turning it, okay? We shouldn't be going this way. We shouldn't be going up, certainly, because then we're getting rise ball, okay? So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, okay? The other thing I really like to encourage my girls to do when they're practicing any isolated spin is to finish the pitch. So when I say finish the pitch, that means I don't want them to spin and then just stop their hand right here. Because if you do that in a full pitch, the pitch is going to bounce short, okay, in the case of a drop ball. So you want to really not only focus on the wrist and fingers, but also that relaxed finish to the end of the throw zone. So let's look again. 1, 2, 3, up and over. And again, you'll notice that I'm kind of over exaggerating that up and over motion so that I'm truly getting that drop spin and not just throwing it like diagonally into the ground. Once you've done a couple of reps of those, okay, so you've done the 1, 2, 3, you can either just do it after one, you can kind of step back and add, you know, a little bit more arm motion, so you're practicing that movement, okay, so starting from here, up and over, into the net, into a catcher, okay, and you can kind of progress backwards, and then, you know, add the softball, get to the full pitch, but it really is wonderful for training the wrist and fingers. Let's take a look at the rise ball next, okay? So we're gonna do something similar for the rise, but now, and again, we're gonna actually start with it in the same position as we did for the drop. So making sure it's nice and straight, okay? And really focusing on wrist and fingers. Now you wanna start the hand a little bit lower for the rise, because remember, it's really important for the rise to start low. Starts too high out of your hand, advanced batters, they're not swinging at it, okay? So we're gonna start with this nice and low, down like right above the knee, and we're gonna do that same wrist and finger motion, except we're coming underneath it this time instead of up and over. So I'm gonna go wrist back, wrist forward, wrist back, wrist forward. And again, really paying attention to keeping this straight. So as I turn back, I shouldn't turn it this way. And as I come forward, I shouldn't turn it this way. Then you're gonna get like curve rise, okay? Keeping this blue line nice and straight. 1, 2, 3. And again, focusing on a nice relaxed finish. So I'm not spinning it and stopping my hand here. I'm not immediately lifting my hand up. I'm gonna spin it and relax out and upwards. 1, 2, 3. And then again, you can kind of just do one. It's also really good too, I should have mentioned with the drop as well. You don't even necessarily need a catcher. You can spin it to yourself, okay? Work on hand speed. That's especially good for the drop because you can work on kind of catching it yourself and having really quick hand speed. Okay, but it is good to throw to a catcher as well. But after you do, you know, the 1, 2, 3, you can just do single ones. You can back up and add a little bit of extra arm movement to it. Okay, throw it to the catcher and then obviously progress back to the full pitch. Last one I'm gonna show you guys today is the curve. So again, similar thing, we're gonna always set our body up into the correct position for that pitch. So for here, I'm gonna have a crossover step. Now this one's a little bit different because I'm holding the spin doctor like this instead of down here, okay? And again, we're gonna focus on the wrist and fingers and that relaxed finish to the end of the throw zone. So we're not stopping here, not lifting up, we're gonna spin and relax to that opposite pocket, okay? So, and again, we're gonna do that same 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, nice and loose. 1, 2, 3. And remember again, as you're spinning this, to keep it nice and straight. So again, when we're practicing the curve, we want to see that blue line stay nice and flat. It shouldn't be turning like this as you come across. It shouldn't be dropping backwards. That blue line should be staying nice and straight. So this is one of my favorite tools to practice spins with my girls. Again, you can also add in drop curves and screwballs, you know, if you want to. You can even just do fastballs with it as well. So it is a very versatile tool, and I do love to use it, especially once my girls have already gone through the spin stick and the power pod. Again, if you'd like to check out the Spin Doctor for yourself, you can go to their website and use my code FPPower to check out. You'll get a little discount. I hope you guys love it as much as I do, and I will talk to you soon.